Today, I'd like to talk about column writing. Columns are used in magazines and newspapers and other forms of journalism in order to get across the writer's personal experiences and beliefs. There are several different types of column writing, so I'd like to go over them today. The first and foremost, I want to talk about the basics. So these are called columns. It is a short article, usually 500 to 750 words, which it might seem like that's a lot to you, but it really isn't. If you noticed when you were writing your reviews last week, those were 250 words, and those were pretty short. So 500 words might only take up half a page typed, maybe a little over half a page. So a short article, that's 500 to 750 words. An area of expertise, and this is important. So when I'm talking about an area of expertise, I mean something that you know a lot of information about. It doesn't have to be academic. It doesn't have to be intellectual. It could be like if you know a lot about hunting, if you know a lot about trucks, if you know a lot about certain types of animals, know a lot about a very specific type of anime or a manga writer. All of these are areas of expertise, things that you've vested a personal interest in your own life that you can write about for your columns. So going off of that, personal life or pastimes, which is basically summing up your area of expertise. So a few types of columns we're going to talk about and in practice over the upcoming weeks are as follows. First is advice columns. You see these a lot in newspapers. Basically, it's like Dear Annie, Ask Annie, Dear Megan. Basically, readers, will send in their problems to the newspaper, and the columnist writer will answer with advice to help and try and solve their problems. Relationship columns. A lot like advice columns, people will send in issues with relationships like, hey, I'm not sure if my girlfriend loves me, or hey, I think my wife has eyes for another man, blah, blah, blah. So basically, the columnist writer will post the response in the newspaper and then offer a written advice about the relationships. Day-to-day. Day-to-day columns are like the writer of Marley and Me, basically just chronicling, just talking about what they do on a day-to-day basis. To keep this interesting and not boring, like I woke up, I ate a bowl of cereal, I took a shower, I sat down, I watched TV. That's boring day-to-day column writing. So make sure to focus on and only use day-to-day column writing if something interesting is happening in your life at the moment, something unique, and something you want to share with the world, with the readers who are going to read your column. Something you want to give to them that they can have a unique perspective experience about. Like if you've got a new animal and you're having trouble with that animal, you can write a day-to-day column about caring and raising that animal. If you have a new family member in your life, that's a great day-to-day column for that too. So we will use day-to-day columns if we have interesting personal experiences to share. Finally, personal interest. This is what I talked about earlier. If you have a wealth of knowledge about a very specific topic that you're interested in, like cars or hunting or video games or anime or manga, personal interest is a great column where you just share more about why you like it, because columns are important that, especially personal interest columns are important that you're sharing your opinion. So yeah, if you want to go in depth with some guy who wrote the Bleach manga and where he came from and what's he been doing, that's great. But talk to me about how it relates back to you. Always share, when writing a column, your writer's opinion and your writer's perspective of your life and how the column works, because that's what readers are paying for when they're trying to read a column. They're trying to get the writer's personal voice and opinions about a piece. So to conclude, that is what we're talking about this week, the following week, and probably the week after, talking about columns. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video. Please make sure you do everything in your lesson. This is a reminder because a lot of times, a lot of students are only doing a partial work or only looking at one part of the assignment and not turning in everything. So make sure that you focus on doing every single thing that I assign. Thank you.